LJN Fight Night Podcast. Hosted by The Plan, Zash Man. The Victorian Brother, Brutus Valentine. And everyone's favorite man, all up in smoke, Duarte the Pont. Ladies and gentlemen, they're ready to rumble, so let's go to the studio. Take it away, Zash Man.
Welcome everybody.
I was like, what kind of mug is that? What's in that mug?
My wife gave it to me. She goes, here's a coffee. She just wanted me to look like a fool on my podcast.
You should have been using that LJN Fight Night mug you have.
Yeah, it's in the house. She just gives me the shit one because she wants me to look like a goose.
Well, she shouldn't have given you a chicken then.
Looks a bit like me. It's a duck.
I don't know what it is.
It's not a duck. It's a chicken.
It's a chicken.
Oh, what a week it's been, boys. We've had the custom competition. We've had so much action happening. It's great to see all these customs. We had a slow start to the year. I was wondering where all the customs were coming. Now they're hitting thick and fast.
It's because they put up a competition. No one wanted to show anything. Everyone was hiding everything. They're working on a couple, and they don't want to show nothing. And once the moment competition's over, everyone starts showing them. That's what ends up happening.
100%. Well, it was worth the wait. There was some great customs. What did you think, Brutus?
Yeah.
Brutus didn't even know about it. Look at that.
I haven't been online much. I saw one post about with the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which I thought was yours, Zash, and up against someone. But who won in the end?
That was me.
Ricky Steamboat.
Okay. Who did you beat?
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart.
Okay. Did you do that one as well?
That was Jason Esposito, no?
Jason Esposito. And I've got a video of that we're going to show people soon. But it was one hell of a custom. Bret Hart, you don't see many action poses like that. But as soon as I saw it, I thought that's a Jason Esposito because I've seen him do them action poses before. And
he's great at that. I'm going to have to look it up. I'll wait for the video. Yeah, Jason. In the competition last year, he really moved things to a new level. I've just seen it. Yes,
was he the one? Was he the one who did the Hakus?
Yeah, Haku. He had the flying Macho Man as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So before we move on to our guests, I just want to touch on something within the groups. Just want to remind everyone about being kind and courteous. We've had a few occasions recently within our own group, Elite Customs, where people have been a little off, a little not so friendly. We don't put up with that in this group. So we want our customizers to come out and show us what they've done, whether it's perfect or not perfect, or you know, however someone sees it is through their own eyes. Someone might see it as something totally different. So I want everyone to be kind and courteous. Only give criticism if it's asked. We don't need to go around criticizing customs. We want to support everyone. So where you might think you're being honest, really it's just offending people who's put a lot of hard work in. So
just being a dick.
I just want everyone to just go, okay, look, be friendly, be kind, be courteous. Someone's put their heart and soul into this, and let's make everyone confident to put their customs out there.
Yeah, there's always a difference between criticism and a critique. Critiques are always welcome. Because that's how people get better and different eyes see things in different ways. Criticism is just sort of having a go at someone for, just because you want on a power trip, I suppose.
And especially if you've never done a custom, it takes a long time to do it, right? It's just not just put it together, right? It takes days. You got to wait for stuff to dry, put it together. Just don't be a dick. If you have nothing to say, just don't say it.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Be nice.
We've got one hell of a come on segment later on in the show. I've just realized something, and I always forget something on the podcast. I haven't uploaded the intros onto the podcast for these amazing guests we've got coming on.
You had 2 weeks.
You're a shit scammer.
Oh, how did I not do this? How did I miss this? So what we're going to do is we'll introduce the guests, we'll bring them on, and during the show, I'm going to bring on their intros. Okay, because
Yeah.
you don't want to wait, but I need time to upload these. So our first guest, our first guest we will bring on is a guy who's been doing customs for around about a year and a half. He's really picked up the art quite well. He's doing some great customs. Let's bring him on, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Boone, welcome to the podcast. And Chris Boone has a very quiet voice, don't you, Chris? There's a little switch somewhere that will say unmute on your screen because we can't hear a word you're saying. You look fantastic. You look great. If that's anything.
He hears you, but he can't speak to you.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone can lip read on this show. Yeah.
There's probably a mute button.
Can't hear a word you're saying, Chris, but look, I'm sure it's something very important. So get that sorted and we'll come back to you as soon as we can hear you. Keep trying. There might be an unmute button. If you've got a clever wife around, maybe get her to come and have a look, but we'll get you sorted out.
No, he's not on mute no more.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Yep, I can't hear him.
You're going to have to sort something out, mate. Keep trying. Plug your thing in and out a few times. Let's bring on our next guest. He is the Instagram entrepreneur, the beast, Todd Tomeo.
What's up, guys?
Oh, man.
You were making me laugh so hard. That was great.
What's been happening, buddy?
Where'd he go? Now he's just gone altogether.
Yeah, he's gone. It showed on his name that the microphone was off, so it had to be something that he might have to unplug his headset. I don't know. But Todd, how's it going, man?
Great. I love when you guys talk about the criticism and critique. I get so happy when I hear you say that because I'm telling you, like, I sucked when I started this. I was awful at what I was doing, but in my head, I knew what I wanted to do. And everybody was always telling me the right things to keep going.
Yeah.
Had they say other things in a different light, I would have probably quit, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it really is important to like let people grow and and guide them so they can do cool things too, because everybody does different things.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to destroy the path.
We don't learn by getting everything right either.
Right.
I mean,
Correct.
Todd, you know that in your profession as well. If you
Yes.
get everything right from the beginning, then you're actually going to live an imperfect life. I've just got a couple of starter questions for you, Todd.
Go.
You have a job, don't you?
Yes.
And it's a busy job,
Yeah. Yes.
right? You have a partner as well,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Do you sleep?
No.
No. Your output is prodigious. That's all
Yeah.
I can say. Yeah.
Yeah. It's when I don't have dead space like in my life. Like if it can be filled, I fill it. Like I feel like if I'm sleeping or I'm not sculpting or I'm not doing anything, I can't live like that. So at work, at school, like I have off periods in between classes and I'll fill that with creativity and then go right back to teaching. I have to.
Yeah, and that can create the drive because teaching's an interesting profession and people think, oh well, you know, you just walk in and say stuff. Well,
No.
And they have great vacations. They have the summers off, you know, all the holidays. Come
Yeah.
on, they got the life. They got the life. They get March break. They get March break. They get all the crazy holidays that not everyone gets.
I had my 3 kids the whole break. I
life.
had my 3 kids the whole break. The whole time I had them.
He goes to work to rest. My neighbour's a school teacher, and he says to me, mate, he goes, I don't want these school holidays. I work harder when I'm on school holidays.
Yeah, so that's it's good. I don't really sleep as much, but yeah.
Yeah, because you're always working on something.
Always working on something, and my head's always thinking about something.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. I just think about a lot of things and how to make things better or something I want to do. That's that's what happens.
And that's the parallel with teaching that I was going to say before Dwight came and undermined the whole profession. I
wasn't undermining it.
You pretty quickly work out what to teach, but then you spend all your time, your skill, and your expertise working out how to do it. And it's the same with you guys and your customs. You know what you want to make, right? But you've got to work out, well, how do I do it? You know, how do I show a bigger guy? How do I show a smaller guy? And Jason is a good example. We have someone who's taking it to a new level by doing action poses into it. So, and that's something Zash will show us later. And for me, a non-customizer, it's great to see things being moved forward.
So, so what happened recently on the same topic, I've been dying to, and I talked about Zash about this and Duarte about making the rock and wrestling guys. And, you know, I've seen people do them and I like them. They're nice, but I don't feel like they're available. Like, I feel like no one can get their hands on them.
You kind of sounded like Borat then, Todd. I like them. They're nice.
But I feel like they're not available. Like, no one, I never see like you guys have any of them or anything like that. Yeah. And I think you guys would be awesome at painting them and all that stuff. So I wanted to make them. And long story short, I actually asked somebody else to do the cartoon head sculpt of one of them for me, like a digital artist I came up with online, whatever. And it didn't work out. Like, it wasn't what I wanted, which was surprising, right? Like, because I wasn't good. I couldn't do it. But anyway, my friend Joe Alvino in Canada, when I showed him and he shook his head and he's like, no. And then Joe said to me, Todd, why don't you sculpt them? And I was like, dude, I don't have the time. I don't know. And he's like, sculpt it. If it sucks, I'll tell you it sucks and you'll do it again and you'll do another one. And he's like, I'll get you to where you need to be. Guys, if I told you, we have everyone. I made everyone. And it was because Joe would look at these things like literally for like a day or two and then come back and say, all right, Todd, you're here. And if you do this, you have it. He did it for every single figure. We have every head.
How many figures?
I have guest stars. I don't want to spoil who the other guest stars are, but they're awesome. And like I said, it's because critique. He was critiquing. He wasn't criticizing anything I did. He knew how I work, so he's like, I know you'll get it. But he critiqued in such a nice, helpful way. And he got us to where we need to be because now we have all the heads done.
Nice.
You know?
Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, how many are in the set, though? Like the original set, not the actual ones you're doing.
I would say, what is it, 14, 15 maybe?
Brutus? Come on, you got to know this answer, Brutus.
Yeah, well, they're not.
If you turn on to Page.
He needs to read a book to know the answer because he hasn't read the book yet.
I think 15.
Just wrote it.
I think 15.
I don't read it after I've done it. I don't go back and look at it.
I think 15. Yeah, count those up.
Has Pete's work in it, and he's got Randy Savage in 2, 4, 6, 12, 18, 17. That Pete had made, and then
he has Macho Man's in there, right?
Yeah, Macho Man's in the book one. He also
now
done,
down to 16.
He had the Heart Foundation as well, and other sorts of ones. Yeah. So I mean, but the original cartoon, I never saw the cartoon.
Neither did I.
I mean, I've seen it since.
Yeah.
But
these are.
I was an adult, so you know.
I wasn't even bored. I don't think I was even bored.
So one of the things Joe did which I'm telling you, when I haven't shown you any of them like in full form yet, Joe looked at Pete's regularly and would come to me and say, okay, we're not doing that. So we need to do this instead.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
there's a clear difference when you see our figure and his, because we didn't want to
have exact same.
Right. We didn't want to be, we like his, and we they're cool. And we don't want to,
copy
the same thing. Yeah. So we have our own twist.
Your interpretation.
Yeah. And it's really nice what we did with each one of them. They have kind of a symbol or a tribute to something nostalgic that you see on. It's pretty neat. It's really
It's just
exciting.
Like everyone's gonna do a figure like what's it called? Zash just did which one? The Butch Reed, right? His is sick, but I also have one from Joe Gatter who did a Butch Reed. Everyone could do Butch Reed. Everyone has their own interpretation, right? So you're just doing your own right now version. Not too many people have done it, right? Just I think it was Pete, and I think there's one other guy that's attempted or I forgot it.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, he tried. So everyone has to do just their own interpretation of the line, right?
Yeah, Haynes did one of my favorite Butch Reeds. He done it long ago, and he hand sculpted the face and everything. He did one of the most incredible jobs of that.
So I want to make them available to people too, because now we could, I could print and I can produce figures for people quicker. And now I feel like maybe people always wanted them and they can have them. And it would be great to have more people have them. That's really why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
There's another guy that does them as well. I can't remember his name.
Probably say the same guy that me and Brutus were talking about.
Right.
But we did a lot. We did a lot of work. Like Joe, and honestly, I credit Joe too, because he goes out.
You've got to say
he does the research.
People think you're talking about Gador.
Yeah. Joe, my friend. This is my friend Joe from Canada. My Canadian friends.
No, but people don't know him as that name. Everyone knows him as Joe Sprox or Sprox.
Joe Sprox. Yeah, Joe Sprox.
Well, we normally call him Sprox, just his surname, because otherwise we'll get him mixed up with Joe Gador. I call him Sprox anyway.
But he's dedicated, Joe Sprox. Like he's dedicated. He does all the research. So like he'll get the characters, the new characters, the artwork, 2D artwork for new characters. He gets me. And then I interpreted a 3D sculpt. And then we go back and forth. Boom, boom, boom. Until he looks at it and he goes, bro, it's good. And if it's not, we fix it.
And what's the height of them?
So I want to make it like Andre in real life is 7'4". So if I make it a 1 inch, he's 7 feet 4 inches, right?
Yep.
So I was just thinking making Andre 7 inches and then going from there.
So do them by their height?
I was thinking that. Yeah.
That's a good way to go.
I mean, there's really no other. I don't want to go bigger.
Here's my opinion on scale and LJN customs. Just my opinion, and that means nothing, but this is what I sort of go by. I don't think you really have to be exact. These guys are 8-inch figurines, as Tyler would say. And mate, if it's a little bit taller, it's gonna fit in, right? Like you're just gonna. He was a bigger wrestler. Make him a little bit taller. He's looking down on everyone. That's all that sort of would matter. Like people want to get to the millimeter and stuff, and then have them in the LJN collection. And really, if you're gonna make it on scale with some of them, then it's gonna be ridiculous. And if you're gonna make it with others, it'll be the other way around. So I don't think you have to be exact. Personally, I think just make it a tiny bit bigger.
You're high and you're low. You're high, you're Andre, and then like you're Wendy Richter. Like you want to hit them, and then everybody else is just in between. Exactly.
Or the Haiti Kid. Then you got to go lower. No.
Yeah, I like Haiti Kid. It's cute. Yeah. I love Haiti Kid.
Hey, let me show you your intro anyway. I've got them up here now. Tonight, we have a special celebrity from his Instagram account. This man needs no Facebook. This man needs no introduction. He is the digital 3D printing entrepreneur, our main man, Todd Tomeo from Retro Wrestling Revolution. Now, I had no pictures of you. I couldn't put a funny picture on for Duarte. That's all I had. And Chris Boone's having thunderstorms, and he's gone.
That's all right.
Maybe he won't, but let's show his intro anyway.
Yeah.
And the next guest that joins us tonight from Winchester, Virginia, it is Chris Boone.
Dude, that he made canes all parts and stuff. That was great.
The cane. The cane.
That was cool.
Cane stood out for
I like
me
it.
too, yeah.
He does a lot of accessories for his figures. I think he also did one with the machines. No.
I didn't see it in the intro though.
No. I think he had it. I think he did also the machines. He put them on all of them, but I guess he's not here to say yes or no, right?
I'm trying to come up with a name on my site for my accessory box. I'm gonna have an accessory box, but I want to name it after Duarte. I can't come up. I can't think of.
You always got to have an accessory for every figure, man. At the end of the day.
So every time I send stuff to people now, anytime someone gets anything, they get an accessory that I have. I just give it to them. So the demolition masks I have now, someone just got them. They fit so good.
So what's the accessory with the Godfather?
So he has his cane. He has his like it's almost like a Freddie Blassie cane. I think it's the same one.
Nice.
But what I want to do is I want to make the Killer Bee mask. But do it like it might be too big if you go like this. I was thinking just like, like maybe covering the front of the head with it. Maybe you just. I
think your best bet is just go get yellow gloves, cut the tips off, make holes, and that's it. And they're just cloth.
Man. People want it official, man. They want it official. They want it perfect.
That thing is
gloves.
Pardon?
They don't want to cut any gloves. I want to make it like an official piece.
You just get 3 packs of gloves. You get 6 pairs. Boom.
I was on another topic just briefly. I was chatting to our good mate Victor Diab during the week, and he had a little message for Brutus. He wanted me to tell Brutus that he is completely wrong. And LJNs were released in 1984, and he has proof that they were at WrestleMania 1. Now, Brutus, do you have a comeback?
Yeah, Victor was the one who showed me they were at WrestleMania 1.
Okay, what about the 1984 part?
I'm not commenting on that, and Victor will know that I won't comment on that. If it's come from Victor,
he wants to hear it. He's forced me to say this live to get a reaction out of you, and we want a reaction.
Yeah, we want some stuff to get crazy.
In the book, to the best of my knowledge and the best of the research, I give the timeline as confirmed by the person who is in charge of the LJN Wrestling Superstars line. Now, Victor knows that I won't contradict what he has asked you to say from his point of view, because I made a promise and I keep my promises.
Good.
There you go, Victor. If you're watching,
Victor,
Brutus,
you know what I'm talking about.
I think you did rattle him a bit there anyway, Victor, but Brutus has come back strong and he is firm on his 1985 release. I'm going to read through a couple of messages. In fact, Brutus, can you see names on these messages? Because I'm getting bugger all names on here. People, if you message. We prefer it if you do allow the StreamYard to see your name because I won't be able to see it otherwise.
Yeah, we've got Harvey Snoots checked in. Hello. Jim Cooley Crab as well. Tyler Peters. So Anthony Rossi as well. Now, Joey Brown's asking if anybody's going to show their customs. I think Joey might be a new viewer. Zash will be showing a lot of customs later on. And that's about it for the names that I've got there at the moment.
Yep. We will have a segment called Customs of the Week. And on that segment, we will show all the customs over the past fortnight. Unfortunately, it's gotten to the stage now where we're having a podcast fortnightly instead of weekly, and I'm just not finding the time to be able to put the names on the customs anymore because there's about 1,000 customs. And for me to put names on every one of them customs, I needed about an hour or two, and I just didn't find it this week in between things because I've had a little sick baby. She's had croup this week, and I'm struggling on sleep and everything, so that's my excuse.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
That's right. But we're here and we make it happen for everyone. So appreciate you all watching, guys. And we will get to Customs of the Week soon. In the meantime, why don't we shoot off to a segment? And this segment is called...
With all the crazy things going on in the past and present, we have a man who will tell you exactly how he sees it. Come on! With Duarte, the Pond.
Put the picture up. There it is, finally. So I saw this listing on one of the LJN sites.
What the hell?
And it's on eBay. And that's Canadian. So it's not that much. It's what, $379 American. 485 Canadian for a Macho Man. This is getting ridiculous.
What's the variant?
There is no variant. It's
The
just
variant,
smart.
the name's rubbed off a bit.
Yeah, and variant is someone played with it for a very long time, and you think he even put, I think he even wrote Macho Man in the back, which it didn't come with.
What are they claiming the variant is?
It's got to
What's
be
the
the
claim?
Macho Man. It's got to be the Macho Man written on the back. But
What
that
is
is. Pardon?
Let me see the back.
Where is the variant? What they said variant. There must be a variant. Maybe it's a purple. Isn't there a purple and pink variant? Brutus, step in.
There's nothing written in the back, though. There's no variant that has one written in the back.
Is this a variant, Brutus?
No, it's someone's written Macho Man on the back. And that doesn't exist. It's so that's,
Well, you can ask for the money.
Yeah. I told you. Someone wrote Macho Man. I was saying the whole time.
You can ask for
It
the
does
money.
not exist.
So,
look, there's,
Yeah,
there's
you
three-
can,
there's
but it's
three
not
Macho
rare.
Man.
Anyone
There's
could do
the,
it.
The most common Macho Man is the mid purple. Then you have the pink ones, and then you have the dark purple. Essentially, many of those might have been on black cards. And then you've got the combinations with the headbands, and then you have the no stars Macho Man. So the book has 7 different ones listed: 4 bodies, 7 headband combinations. And the difference in the headband is some have 4 stripes at the front, some have 7 stripes at the front, which means they put the paint mask around the wrong way. And so
Amazing.
there's the Macho Man on his trunks has been applied by someone.
Yeah.
well, I will say if any of you viewers ever get hit with one of Duarte's come on segments, and you feel a little bit like Duarte's been a bit nasty about your listing,
Hey, if
feel
it's an
free
eBay
to come back because honestly, I want you to smash this Duarte guy because he's smashing all these overpriced listings.
it's
Come
bullshit.
back at him.
485. I'll start selling mine for 485. I'll become
That's
rich.
Oh, look, there's all the underpants.
There's-
There's
There they
4.
all are.
Do we have any? Is there any footage of any LJNs getting painted and paint masked, or no?
I couldn't find any footage of those factories.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
In
well,
the
that would be-
initial stages, I did contact a couple of Hong Kong workers from the 80s there, but they didn't reply to me. And one was a production manager. So it's not surprising. A lot of people don't reply. It took me a long
like
time
this-
to get.
Yeah, I'd like to know, like, how did they paint? Right, how did they paint that on I want to see it. Like, you know, we use decals and all this other stuff, but I want to see that. That'd be cool.
Oh, well, I did research a number of other factories.
Yeah.
And so paint masks work in two ways. They have a cradle where they put a figure into the cradle. There's a figure here. Paul Mike Kirchner.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Mr. Kirchner. Right.
Yeah.
So they'll put it in and like have to do this opposite. Sits in a cradle, and the cradle already has the cutouts in it. So they might spray his they'll put the darker colours on first, his eyebrows, that sort of stuff, and then goes along to another cradle next to it. So the guy takes it out, puts it in, gets a different spray gun and puts on his eyeballs, that type of thing. And then there's the handheld cradles where the figures are just there and they put the handheld cradle. They're generally for little details. So, and they just spray. So it's like a spray mask. So it's a metal.
So you got to make, so besides the mold, each figure has multiple masks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and Kirchner has heaps. I mean, every time there's a different color, there's a different mask. That's essentially.
So where are those paint masks? They throw them out?
Well, we saw one surface last year for the giant-sized Hulk Hogan. And that was just for his eyes, wasn't it? Or just for his eyeballs? Yeah. And that came from New Jersey, that one. And of course, the giant size LJNs were molded in the US, in New Jersey, along with the rings. Then they went overseas for I'm assuming for painting to some extent, for the clothing going on, and then actually went to Taiwan as well. Taiwan were doing that and then would come back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very interesting. That
And
was
where-
very
And where did it surface?
But
Where
that
did the
was,
thing surface? And how much did it go for? Did someone buy it?
I have no idea of that. I wasn't following that.
from memory, it was quite expensive, but probably worth it to someone. It wouldn't have been one for the come on segment, that's for sure. But
Yeah, that's right.
I just want to
come on, I wish I had it.
We need to get Rob Kerr from the LJN Collecting Forum, who's the Hulk Hogan expert, and because he was all over that one. So, because generally what happened with the molds, the first molds were aluminium, and then the second molds were steel, beryllium, because they lasted much longer. But then when the toy manufacturers and others are finished with the mold, they melt it down to reuse the steel. They don't keep the molds. When the molds wear down, they create a new mold and melt down the steel to make other molds. So most of those masks, which are big, heavy things, would have been melted down. So for something to last is quite unusual.
That's fascinating.
We had a question here on how many LJNs are there, and we had an answer of 70 plus one. We've also had a question saying, what is the plus one?
Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter, that's right.
Yeah.
So 70 distinct singles card releases with deliberate variations, and they're not variations. The figures were deliberately released in different patterns. The two SDs, obviously Tito and Tito as Strike Force, Andre, and then Andre Blackstrap, different figures, and the two referees. And people would ask, why the two referees? One, there were no royalties needed to be paid to the referee. That's why he didn't need to look like anyone. And two, you got a kid. We do all the blue ones. How do we sell some more figures? Well, let's do some white ones.
So what about SD Jones? Did you say that?
Yeah, SD Jones. Now, SD is always the one people are most amazed with. Now, sometimes we can only answer the questions with, how people ask, why Axe, not Smash? Because that's what they did, right?
Yeah.
It's an arbitrary decision. I mean, I can try and justify it, but I have no evidence for it.
Yeah.
Axe was the masked superstar. Axe was, one of the machines. Bill Eadie worked for the WWF for a long time, and maybe they picked him first. Now, why not a tag team is easy to answer. LJN were rooted, right? The tag teams took up so much. Strike Force was the popular tag team. Faces always outsold heels, right? So if they were only going to go with one tag team at that stage, they're going to go with the champions and those who are more likely to get sales. But by 1988, LJN were looking to sell. MCA Universal, who owned LJN, were looking to sell LJN. And they were out of it. The license was for 4 years, and it was signed in July 1984, which is why some people who say they had figures in June 1984, well, they can't because it wasn't signed until July 1984. 4 years was up. And, you can have a look at the early Hasbro. Some of the early Hasbro development material is from 1989. So WWF were already in bed with Hasbro at that stage. And of course, we know Grand Toys took over. And that's why in the second half of 1988, there's figures. I was posting those ads every week on one of the forums, figures being sold for $1.99.
Amazing.
I know.
LJN were just clearing the stock.
Imagine you bought a couple of them and you just saved until now.
Yeah, well, that's the time machine. That's the time machine conundrum. But Dwight, would you have kept them in the pack?
I never seen him in pack. Like my older brother's the one who had him. So all the toys I had were already open. The first pack I opened was the one you saw me open in that episode.
So you never saw them on the shelves in the store?
No, man. I was young. When they came out, I was like 1. Or I don't think I was even born when they came. No, actually, I was 2. A 2-year-old can't play with those heavy rubber things. And then I wasn't even living. Then I wasn't even in this country. I was in Portugal for a little while.
Bro, you missed a glorious time.
No, but I had them. I had them from my older brother, but I never opened them. The first one was what's it called again? The one I opened on the show that was like semi-broken already. So I just opened up for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Why not?
It was just so cool because of their size was and their color, the blue card. It just was a really cool thing.
Like I just remember seeing the Hasbros in stores, but LJNs, no, I've never seen them. Never ever seen them on the store.
And then seeing ones like, and plus the excitement that when you would go into say Toys R Us or something, and seeing someone on the shelf that you would never see, or asking the guy to go in the back and get you a box if there's any newer ones, and him opening it and taking out like Coco Beware, and you'll be like, "What the hell?" It was like crazy
you didn't
stuff.
know what was coming out.
Nope.
And that's
because you didn't know, right?
No. And the stories in the book. There was the Canadian guy. I apologize, I don't remember your name. He and his brother and his cousin used to ring all the stores every day, and they were so sick of them. And Dave Rollins from New Jersey, right? He used to go to the stores and ring every day. Have you got any new figures? Have you got any new figures? Have you got any new figures? Because these were.
But wouldn't the magazine? But wouldn't the magazine tell you which figures are out?
No, the magazine was always behind, and their ads. If you have a look at their ads, they're out on the sequence as well. And magazines are done months ahead. And so the magazine really didn't have much. Sometimes they'd have articles where the wrestlers, at the end of the magazine where they had sort of around the world or something like that, and they'd have Killer Bees with their figures. And there's that one of the Heart Foundation got their figures with Danny Davis all on top. Yes. But they never were saying when things would come out, because that production was LJN and they were in control of that. And in 1986, they fell well behind schedule, because in mid-1985 is when the figures really took off big time. And so it ended up
1985, you said?
I know what. 1985 mid is when they really took off. Yeah,
I wasn't even here. I was in Portugal. I didn't come to Canada until I was like 87.
Amazing.
Okay, we've got a question from somebody, Brutus. Who's this? What book is that, and where can I get it? They're talking about the Brutus
guy right here.
That's Joey Brown. This is the Wrestling Superstars, the complete guide to LJN WWF wrestling figures. I haven't sold a copy in 2 months, so I was actually thinking of pulling the website, because it's costing me more to run the website than that. I'll post the link up for Joey where you can get it from.
Wow. Everyone must have one of them. That means.
While we're on it, the Hasbook is going into its second production print, and I should be getting these the copies to send up to the US for Grenville. I'll be getting them within the next couple of days, and so that's going into its second print.
Okay, I will add to that as well, guys. I've got Brutus's book also on the website if you want to get it from the website. Sorry, I've still got that comment up. Get rid of that comment. There we go.
Still there.
my way through it. If you want to have a look on this website, guys, you can also pick up the book from that website. I picked up a few from Brutus to sell on there. So, yeah, you can pick up some custom figures or some other figures while you're at it. Shoot on over to that store.
Yeah, if you're getting some customs or some stuff from Zash and you haven't got the book, you can add it into your order and it'll actually cut you postage than just having to just order the book itself. So,
correct.
Yeah,
that's the idea of having them there.
And the book, of course, is it's well into its second print run. I don't know. I think I have about 230 left, and that'll be it. There won't be any more after that.
Oh, 230 left of that of the books left to sell?
Of the LJN book, yeah.
That's not bad.
No, that's
so
not
get
bad.
on over there, order a book, guys. There's a few left, so get on over and order one. I know Todd Tomeo is just coming out of his skin to see Brutus Valentine's segment on mock figures.
Always.
It's still a favorite now, guys. So get comfy in your chair, get ready. We're about to shoot off the Brutus Valentine's segment on mock LJNs.
And now, it's your chance to challenge the big historian himself. Ask a question or try to stump the LJN mastermind. Ladies and gentlemen, how's that? With the Fixtorian, Brother Brutus Valentine.
Hello again this week. I suppose I better issue a trigger warning. If you're a 1984 guy, you should look away because all of this refers to the known history. So last time, what we did was identify what was essentially the first run figures. Now, the internet doesn't know everything, right? Siri doesn't even know who I am. I asked her the other night and then she broke down crying, right? So what we did was the first run figures, no trademarks. This is just a recap. No trademarks, made in Hong Kong, narrow blister, right? That was the first run of figures, probably about 5 or 6 Hogans, maybe one of everything else. We can't really match it up. Now, to the best of my research, the very next figure that came out were the figures with the stands. The internet will tell you the stands came out first. The internet also tells you that the world is flat, that man never landed on the moon, and that Bill Gates is living in my arm, pumping 5G through my body at the moment. Anyway, right? And I've got Belinda in the other arm, but they're separate, right? So, to accommodate the stand, the blister had to be wider. The cards still didn't have trademarks, so we're still very early. The figures on the back still didn't have trademarks, so we're still very early. Big difference is made in China. So the figures were made in Hong Kong first on the aluminium molds, which were the small scale molds. But then, as I said, they really went off around about May and June. That was the huge sale period of 1985, after being released in late February into early March in 1985. And my contact at LJN said when they first started running the ad after Easter 1985 is when they really started to sell significantly. So this Hulk Hogan has a stand. Now, why they put the stands in, we can only ever speculate. What we know is they didn't stand up, but kids weren't playing with them to stand up. Now, they did come out. They did come out, I think, at number 9 on the worst toy list in terms of the description. Twist and turn them into all kinds of wrestling holds. Well, you couldn't, right? And they didn't stand up, so the stands came out. And the stand is a considerably heavier pack too, right? You can really feel the difference in the weight of the stands. So the blisters were wider. Now, here's another one. This is a very fine-looking figure. This is Andre the Giant. Now, what's interesting about Andre the Giant, and sometimes I've bought some cards, even if they're battered, not this one. I'm not going to get in close up. Those price tags are from Kmart. Now, for those who have read the book, they'll know that Kmart passed on the line in January 1985 because they said wrestling fans were not a good fit for their customer base. Apparently, they didn't buy enough guns or something. I don't know. Okay. So, and this is actually reduced down to $5.97, I think. Now, Kmart didn't come in. My contact at LJN wanted to stress that they satisfied all the KB, all the different lines, and Kmart had to wait. And then he said they came begging, and they sent off something like 700,000 figures to Kmart. But that wasn't until mid-1985 because Kmart passed on it. The figures went crazy, right? And then you had the first ad in the WWF magazine in the WrestleMania edition reporting on WrestleMania. I think it's the May-June one with Mr. T on the cover. Get a wrestler in your mailbox. You would not have got a wrestler with a stand in your mailbox. You would have got one of these guys with the narrow blister. And as we talked about, after the stands, the blisters stayed wide. They didn't go back to it, right? They kept it wide because that's what the new mold was. So a short-lived element. If it was made in China, see, Andre is actually, he's got the made in China overprint. People will notice those stickers. So this card was printed for made in Hong Kong, but it was actually made in China, the figure, and assembled. And that's very important because back then, made in country laws were extremely strict. So that's why someone in the factory had to stick a little sticker on 100,000 of these cards. That would have been a good job, right? Almost as good as painting eyeballs would have been a good job as well. So to summarize, first figure, narrow, no trademarks, made in Hong Kong.
Amazing.
Next one's stand, wider blister, still no trademarks, made in China, Hogan was, or some of them seemingly to be made in Hong Kong, but then going off to the China factory because labor was cheaper, faster, and they were selling these like mad. I think that's it. And trigger warning over.
That's great.
Thank you, Brutus. That was fantastic input. Well, I really like that segment. I really do. We've got a few other people asking about the book. Here's a website, which is my website, which the book is on.
Oh, that thing up there is incorrect, LJN Wrestling.
Hold on.
I think
That's not my website. That's someone else's.
I think I typed in the wrong thing.
Wait, Brutus typed that in, did he? Type it in again, Brutus. Do you know your own website, Brutus?
I haven't been there for a while. As I said, the book haven't sold any for a long time, and I've been have to write other stuff.
Who's the Great One? That's a great name.
That's a great name. The Great 199. I like that.
Not it either.
Hey, what?
Just say it. People, it's not that hard. What's the name of your website that you get the book from?
Well, it's the LJN Wrestling Superstars book because it's LJN Wrestling Superstars and it's a book.
I'll tell you what, guys. I'll make it easy on you. If you Google LJN book, I guarantee it'll be at the top. It is for me anyway.
Yeah,
LJN book. Whack it into Google.
Well, that's a lesson as well too, because I set up the website at least 6 months out because it can take a long time for Google to even know who you are. And for those people who wonder how some of my research came about, if you search for LJN Wrestling Stars and look at what's on the first 5 pages, a lot of the information will be inaccurate or sales. What you do is you go to the last page and then you start working backwards. So that might be page 113. And you think, why would you do that? Because then you might uncover something from 2003, like a blog from one of the LJN sales reps who talks about what things are like at that time.
Very good. This message here we've got from somebody. How about when figures would be between Monsoon and Heenan on PTW or
prime time, yeah,
or the ring of figures on the table of TNT show? I wonder if figures were debuting on there before being in stores.
Yeah,
after.
Thanks for their free demolition mask, Todd.
That's awesome. That was great.
Yeah, they were after. There's a great one with Classy Freddie Blassie and the Iron Sheik go on. And not only does he have the Iron Sheik figure, he has some of the notebooks, the school books and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And Blasi saying, look at this man, he's a credit to education and all this sort of stuff. And the Sheiki's looking at his figure and all that sort of stuff. I think that's from about an August 1985 edition. I don't want to trigger anyone on the 1984 one, but anyway. And then there's sometimes they appeared on Superstars where Roddy Piper and De Morocco brought out a box of thumb wrestlers and they're throwing it out. And in fact, Roddy Piper, when his figure first came out, which was the release for Christmas period 1985, I think he's got a Hulk Hogan on his table and he whacks it and says, let's put a good figure on here. And he puts his figure down. And that might be about when Ted Arcidi might have debuted as well, I think.
Wow. Well, there you go. We touched on earlier about Shad goat hair, goat beard. What's
Shad
his name?
Gautier.
Goat Che. Oh,
Gautier.
homework, BDP. You didn't know it last time we spoke.
I knew it. I just didn't. I was just listening to you guys, man.
Done his homework. Wow, I'm impressed, Duart.
Come on. You gotta listen. Listen to when the guy speaks.
Mate, you can take my role.
No way.
Shad Goche, I want to congratulate Shad. He is now a moderator on the LJN Elite Custom Figures group. He's a long-time watcher of this show. He's a long-time supporter of a lot of customizers within the community. He's also one of the best damn repainters you'll ever find. He's gone through pretty much every single figure and repainted every single figure. And his plan is to give them to his son. So, mate, he's a great guy. We love Shad very much. But before we shoot on to something Shad done, I just want to touch again on the Bret Hart that Jason Esposito did.
Great video. That was great.
We've got a video here of the process he took and the steps he took to make that figure.
Nice.
So let's watch the video now, shall we?
Yeah, check it out.
So there it is. Jason Esposito's Bret Hart, and
that's great.
What a fantastic custom that was to make. Now I touched on Shad as well. He got influenced by Jason so much that he's done a video of his own. Bob the Builder, can we fix it? This one hasn't got the song with it, but we can see him here doing a Hogan. He's what's he doing to it? He's got putty. Anyone guess?
He's repainting.
Is he filling holes or is he?
No, he's painting. That's the whole video right there.
Why is he dressed like the Unabomber?
Shad, if you're watching, tell us what you were doing there, buddy. Because
it looks like it's knee pads.
We saw Milliput. Definitely looked like Milliput. Wasn't epoxy.
I think it was tape. It looked like tape.
Was it tape? Probably was. He does mask things up. I thought that was epoxy or Milliput. But that is tape. He does like his razor sharp lines. That's how he gets them with tape. So you are right. Thank you, Duart.
Gotta have a good eye,
Once again, you're on fire today, Duart.
Yeah.
Are you after my job? Do you want to run the show?
No way in hell. I can barely do it on the computer.
There we go.
No, switch it back.
Well, so a couple of cool videos. Yep, Shad said it was painter's tape, and he said first couple of coats. So
excellent.
We'll look forward to seeing that Hogan. So we've got Customs of the Week coming up now. It's a pretty long one. It's about 3.5 minutes long. Like I said, I couldn't put the names on everyone's customs. Most of us know who did what. So I apologize. I just didn't have the time to put the names on. So let's shoot off to the video.
Yeah, dope. Awesome. That's nice. Yeah, I love that. That's that head trick. That's careless. I love that. Nice. Nice. Yeah, that was good. I like that one a lot too. Nice. That's excellent too. Yes, that's good. That's good. Really good.
That was done with vinyl wrap.
That's really good too. Yeah. Woo.
One of yours, Todd.
Yeah. These are great. These are great. Love it.
Okay, awesome. That's customs of the week this week.
There's a shitload of them, eh?
It's
Yeah,
a big
we did.
week.
Who's the Japanese wrestler with the tattoos?
Hakushi?
Akushi.
Yeah, that was great. I like that a lot. Who
Hey,
did
couldn't
that
you
one?
put like a wrestler's theme song during the all that instead of that music?
You could, but that's copyright free music. There's a couple of reasons why I
Oh,
have to
shit.
get certain music.
But can't you
Is,
just play in the background like you're just like
Copyright. We make these wrestlers every day.
come on, bullshit.
YouTube and Facebook are pretty
YouTube.
strict. Down.
Yeah, it's so it doesn't get pulled from YouTube.
Copyright, but we're selling for shit to each other.
You know what? It's also the length. Because that was a long video. I can't just use someone's intro and then the intro finish and then I've got to add something else because once you add a different song to it, it starts to sound a bit patchy here and there. You're best off just having one sort of tuning. Yeah, I
like
could
the
have.
song. It didn't bother me. I thought the song was great. These guys Duarte gets so upset.
I put the volume down because it was killing my ears.
Yeah, look,
That was the
I
first
could.
time. Oh, sorry, that was the first time I had seen most of those. And
Okay.
actually, I mean, trying to pick a favourite from that bunch is impossible. I was particularly impressed with the Roddy Piper because that was a terrible figure from an LJN point of view, because Piper was so dynamic. He was never still whatsoever. And his LJN figure is such a still sort of pose. But that look on his face, and he's ready, ready to poke someone in the eye or slap them, or do that, because he had all those different ones.
Yeah.
And Tony Schiavone, it's good to see a different face. That was an interesting figure too. But I mean, amazing set of figures.
The one with the microphone.
No, that was no, that wasn't Tony Schiavone. That was Gino Hernandez.
Was it? Oh well, shows you what I know.
No, I swear, I think it's Gino Hernandez in the suit.
You're right. Good figure. It was a nice figure.
It wasn't Tony Schiavone. I think the one you're talking about, if you're talking about the one in the suit, that was Gino Hernandez.
Well, now that you've said Gino and being a suit, that makes sense. But it shows you no one knows everything.
Brutus, that Piper head was Caleb, and I messaged him as soon as I saw it. I've been doing work with him back and forth, and I saw that he actually said to me, "Listen, if you need something, just let me know." Like the next day, he showed that Piper, and I'm like, "I need something. I need that head."
Yeah.
And I want to make the Piper's Pit with the table. I want to make him with that head because it was so expressive. It was the best head I've seen. Excellent.
Yeah, right.
It was a great body choice too. I think the Martel upper and a Hogan series. What is it? Series what?
The bottom one. Yeah.
Bottom.
Yeah.
The Hogan. I'm talking. But anyway, I've always struggled. My little pet struggle is always finding it tough to put heads on a Martel body because his chest comes really out far.
Really?
And every time I put a head on, I'm finding it really hard to sit right. And I always make it, and then I'm just going, nah, I'll rip the head off. I don't like it. I know he's a popular choice, but I struggle with him personally. It might be my skill level or I'm doing something wrong, but Martel chest comes out quite far for the size of his shoulders, the width of his shoulders. He's very thick.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense? His body's thick, his shoulders are
No, I see
narrow.
what you mean. But he's a perfect generic figure to use for like anyone, really. You could make him with pants. You can make him just with tights.
Zash, we get you go digital. You'll have none of those problems ever again, my man. You could squeeze and pull whatever you want. You won't be frustrated.
So you'll see the thickness here. I'm going to go on Brutus's camera.
Yeah.
He's got very, very thick chest and a very narrow shoulder width. And for me, finding a head to fit that is just very tough. I think the Martel head is quite narrow, but quite deep. Am I right? If you point him on his side again.
Yeah.
He's got a deep head. See?
Make sure the head.
But the narrowness of it is very narrow. And that's probably to do with his Buffonte hair. But for me, I just always seem to struggle personally.
So why don't you get the size of the head to match the size of Martel?
Yeah, look, it's just one of those things. Like I can remember you saying to me once, Stuart, you wanted I think it was a Virgil. You wanted him with a Martel, and you sent me a Martel and everything, which I've still got here, a Martel body. And I ended up saying to you, I just can't do it, mate. I've got to use a Killer Bee. I've got to do it with a Killer Bee. It's just not sitting on the head. I'm just on the body. I just don't like the Virgil head on that body. It's looking wrong. And you trusted me on that one. And I don't know if it's just me. I just struggle with it.
That's true.
Who'd you make Gonzalez with, Sash? That came out great.
So that was a Galoob Sting that was 3D printed upscale.
Good.
That I used. Yeah, and then I just
really clean, really, really nice.
Yeah, I just puttied all the little bits of him on there, and it was good because the boots already fit. He was similar boots. He didn't. I think he might have had laces sometimes, but
that was a nice one too.
If you push him down, do his arms go like that? Like the Hasbro one?
Yeah. No, not mine. Mine are LJN, mate, not a Hasbro.
The big giant Gonzalez, hey. Oh, he was
That's
a ripper.
that's a great figure, though. It came out
Yeah.
really good, Zash.
Thanks, mate.
That was good.
Yeah. So, well, what else you got going on, Tom? Before we head off, let's just hear what you've got.
I was telling Duarte, one of the things I wanted to do, I was telling Duarte, like, I wish we could, like, I know how you put, like, you put out the Jeff Jarrett figure or you put out the Yokozunas, you did all that. I wish we could all do that together. Like, make one from, let's say everybody says who they want. We get the head sculpted for us. Maybe I could, do the body. Then we could print together. We could have you guys paint. We do I was like, almost like we make, and then I was even thinking casting to rubber. Like just one, like, not because we don't always do it, but it would be cool if we did that like universally, like you did with Yokozuna and the other guys. I wish we could do like more of that, or at least one where we all like get our hands in to make it happen in the package and everything. But it would have to be like somebody that everybody would want that we never really had, like that type of thing.
It would have to be it would be like an Andre the Giant.
If I was going to suggest who that would be, and it's probably out of left field, but if you think of
that's good, we like that.
Who people would go for it? It would be Canada's greatest athlete. I would think would be the man to go for.
You think Mike Sharp?
Mike Sharp.
We have Mike Sharp. We did. We recently did, and Mark had the head, and it came out good. It came out good. Yeah. Yeah, he came out really good. The head's good.
Paris Anderson has said my vote is for Johnny K9. And I think, I'm not sure, Paris might have been watching the other way. Johnny K9 had a 0% win rate. Even Big Joe Murdo got one win during the golden age. Poor Johnny K9. And Johnny was a colourful character as well. He had 0 wins.
Yeah. That's great. Oh, wait, someone just voted? Who'd they say? Johnny K9?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people wouldn't.
Yeah, but that guy was like bad news, right? Like he was all crazy.
He was bad news, yes.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to get involved with that type of rep.
No, no. I mean, there's so many missing. If you try and identify who are the missing characters, Wendy Richter is the missing character, but she's been made quite a lot, and Zash has made Wendy as well.
Yeah, we've done Howard Finkel we did one. We have that.
Gorilla Monsoon was the other one, and the US Express were the missing, superstars of that time. Barry Windham, Mike Rotundo, but they've been done. If you go into the more obscure ones, you've got the Haiti Kid, which is an important part of the.
What was the American? What was the? Help me out. The American and the Canadian group.
Can-Am Connection.
Yeah. Who was that?
Yeah, Tom Zank. We saw a Tom Zank have blown up Galoob there before too. But I'd have to get my list out. But so many of them being done. I mean, to get so many people interested, I think it'd be maybe then resetting a figure, making a figure better. And that Roddy Piper is an example of a figure that's significantly better. And we see Jake's being made that are significantly better, that type of thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You would have to do an Andre, like a really good Andre's
in the big short hair with the suit, like the suit, or right when he's like with Hogan when he rips the cross off, like that type of thing.
If we're talking about a guy that should have been made and wasn't made, whether I know he's been done a lot before, but the number one has to be Mr. Perfect. Surely it should be Mr. Perfect is the number one guy that should have had a figure.
Yeah.
But wasn't he after, like, he's not really in WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, isn't he?
Or 4.
Or 4. There you go.
1988.
You're saying, Zash, if you look at the lineage and the roster and when it was happening, like Mr. Perfect was right there and should have had it.
That's
what I'm
unfortunately. He came in when LJN were dipping out of it. This is my preferred, my wish list of customs for book 2 if it ever happens. Yeah.
So Mr. Perfect was there for series 5 and 6.
That's right, and series 5 were, they're pre-planned beforehand, so he's not going to make an appearance in series 5 unless
that list you have is real, or is that your list?
That's my
list you have. Where's that from? That's yours?
Mine.
Oh, you made that
wish
up.
List.
I thought you
my
said
wish list.
How did he get your list?
Todd, you've made a lot of these, but I'm not going to give you the list because you'll get even less sleep because you'll try and make them all. Right? Will you make Tom McGee?
But
will you make
at LJN when they put the black card guys on the back that we never got?
Yeah.
Is there any information past that they had, or it stopped there?
Never been seen of any prototype, any sketches, anything like that.
That's as far as we ever knew. Went done.
That's right. So they put the photos in. They were planning to do them. Grand Toys took over, and they made their lot, including recasting DeAndre, and then they just re-released a number of other figures using up the molds and getting them out, like Big John Studd because he'd returned. Brutus Beefcake was very popular as the barber. Yeah. So a series 1 figure, a series 2, Macho Man, right? So using that mold, and I think that's the P3 mold of Macho Man, which more likely to have the dark maroon trunks. But then we had Jake, and of course the mystery one is the Adrian Adonis on the Hogan card, and that you could say that was an error, and someone at the factory said put the blonde-headed guy in, but it had the Adrian Adonis disc. So it wasn't an error. It was just pack them off, get rid of whatever you got.
Yeah.
All right. So a tag team. If you were to choose one tag team, guys, that should have had a tag team LJN, who would it be?
The Brainbusters.
US Express.
Brainbusters?
I said Brainbusters.
Yep.
I'm trying to think.
Viewers, if you want to tap in as well, tell us what tag team should have been there.
Because didn't they hold the title for a bit?
What about Natural Disasters?
Yeah,
that was more.
That was more later. That was later.
How much later was that? Was that after LJN completely?
That was mid to late '89. Slick started to team them more regularly because Big Boss Man and Akeem were doing the number on Hulk Hogan. In the ring and the cage and that sort of stuff. And then they started to team and went up against the Rockers, of course. Which is actually a good match.
The Rockers is the answer.
Yeah, but who held the title during that time? Didn't the Brainbusters?
Yeah,
I would say.
Well, Brainbusters got it. And then lost it to Demolition and then got it back. Yeah. But
the Rockers is my answer, without a doubt.
You would have to give it to someone who held the title, right? Give them a figure because they were significant because they held the title during that time. And titles weren't given away, right?
No. Well,
they weren't given away like now. They're not like now. Like every 2 weeks, someone's a different champion. If you held a title, you held it for a little bit,
What about the Fabulous Rougeos?
Yeah, the tag team that was on the roster all that time was the Rougeos. Yeah. And so, you'd think for longevity that would be the team.
Yeah. And I'm sure Jacques would agree with us if he was on this episode.
And they had the titles, but they weren't recognized, no?
No, that's right. Same as the Rockers. Same as the Rockers.
That's right.
Yeah. And the Killer Bees.
It happened to them, didn't it?
Yeah, they got it as well. So
shit.
Yeah. Heart Foundation didn't want to pass it up. Unless it was the Bulldogs. They'd let the Bulldogs borrow it for a while. Give it back.
I watched Jacques Rougeau on Dark Side of the Ring. He was very angry with somebody. I forget who it was.
Dynamite.
Didn't you see the episode of Fight Night Podcast with him on?
Yeah. He talked about that on there now.
Yeah, he talked about it. Go back and watch it again.
He did?
Go back and watch it. Yeah, he talks about it. Yeah, 100%.
While you're at it, watch all the other episodes.
Stop making 27 figures a week, 14 accessories, and then also when offering to paint things for free for guys as well, right?
Yeah.
And instead, watch Zash's show.
It's all right. Todd's got employees. He works with Sprox and anyone else you got over there at Retro Wrestling Revolution.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of little elves from school doing all the work too. And
I try to get people to help me. It's the only way I can get things done if I want to do it all like that, you know.
You're doing a great job, Tom. We love seeing your stuff, and
I'm having a blast, man. I'm having a blast. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not on Instagram every single day. I'm probably on Facebook more than Instagram, but when I do go on and I see your stuff, it's awesome seeing what you do, mate.
Joe's going to advertise. Joe Sprox, he's going to on Facebook advertise for us. So
yeah, because you're not on, right?
Yeah, he likes to spread the word.
He does. Yeah. You guys are doing great stuff over there. Well, we're going to wrap it up now, guys. Thanks everyone for viewing. Thanks, Todd, for coming on.
Anytime.
What? Anything to finish up?
Not much, man. Just glad to be back, and next episode. I don't know.
Great to have you back, mate. We missed you last time.
Yeah,
Brutus, anything to finish up on?
Yeah, 1984 was a book by George Orwell.
I think it's just giving you a jab right to the end.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time.